There's a reason why it will never be perfect. Explained in tarot. Hi everyone, Joe Monteleone here. In this video, I'm going to ramble on perfection, stability, illusion, and some other things. And I'm going to tie tarot into this. First, I want to explain where this is coming from. So, as a coach, as a reader, I'm always working with people's attractions and desires and their aversions. Now, we are all, if you're listening to this video, you as well, we're on the wheel of samsara. So what's that? Samsara is our attractions, our aversions, what we're chasing, what we're running away from. It's like this hamster wheel, and we keep going, and we're getting all of our steps in on this beautiful wheel of samsara. We're just moving. And that's not bad or good. It is what it is. It's the same thing as nirvana, which is enlightenment. There's no difference in some schools of thought. So my question has been, do we ever get to that place where things are perfect? And I'm talking about that perfect relationship, that true love, or that perfect job, or that perfect moment when we just have it all and all of our work pays off. And what I was given in response to this question was an image of snakes, actually. And the snakes were winding in and out of each other in the same way that nature and like vines kind of winds in and out of each other, almost like unfettered, capriciously just going without order, but also with perfect order wherever they can, curiously, exploring, expanding, radiating. And in this image, I realized that every wave of a snake, if we're gonna keep that metaphor, every wave is like any delightful experience. So let's take relationships, for example. You find somebody, you get super excited, they activate something within you, whether that's attachment or love or infatuation or sexual desire, and it's just consuming. And then it builds and it builds and it builds and it gets to this moment where it's just, you're saturated in it and it's perfect. And then all of a sudden, there's a slight pivot and things start to relax and they start to relax and they start to get comfortable and more comfortable, and then maybe there's a problem. And then eventually that relationship ends, whether it's through, breaking up or through just mortality itself, whatever it is, it ends. So there's this like wave that happens. And I'm questioning, why does there have to be a wave? Like these snakes coming in and out and in and out, and these vines coming in and out, this rhythm. And when we think about it, there's a rhythm to everything, right? The sun and the moon, day and night, the rise and fall of cities and empires, breathing, there's always a rhythm. So what's this about? Well, I asked the question, what would happen if you achieved the perfect result in any matter? Perfect job, perfect relationship, perfect life. If it fit so perfectly in your ideal desire, boom, it just fits, boom. And what I've discovered, if it fits so perfectly, there would be room for nothing else. So think of it like Tetris. When you play Tetris, you have these little pieces that fall down that you try to fit together, and when they all fit, it disappears. Well, when all the pieces fit together in a line, there's no room for any other pieces. It becomes stasis. And if we know anything from spiritual texts in any part of the world, we know that stasis is probably the biggest illusion, right? The only consistency is change itself. So that got me thinking, everything that we acquire has to have some space, some little missing link. And in that space, it allows for us to dance and play and experience it in all of its perfect imperfection. Because if it was so perfect, would we really look anywhere else? Would we really experience and be curious about anything else? So let's look into the tarot, because I have this image of snakes, winding snakes, which have been, throughout history, such a symbol of transformation and change and all of that. And what we're also talking about is desire, right? Fulfilling that desire with that perfect result. So the perfect card to go to ask this question is the Strength card. Because the Strength card is about desire. It's about controlling our animal desire and instinct. And it's also in the Aleister Crowley's deck called Lust, but not necessarily just physical sexual lust, but the lust for life, the life energy itself, prana, if you will. So in the Strength card, the Hebrew letter that is attributed to this card is Teth, which means serpent. Now here's where things get interesting. This card, on the Tree of Life in the Western esoteric tradition, this card is on the path between the fourth Sephirah. Okay, I'm getting into Kabbalah here, but I'm going to try to put a map on the video. And if you have any questions on this, just ask me. But the Sephirah are emanations of the divine. There's 10 of them, and there's like these 10 emanations of the infinite universe. They all do different things. This card bridges the fourth Sephirah to the fifth Sephirah. The fourth Sephirah being Chesed, which is about mercy and giving and things manifesting. The fifth Sephirah being Gevurah, which is about actual severity, things being taken away, struggle. That sounds a lot like these snakes, this wave of desire and appetite, achieving something, and then the thing being taken away. Now here's where it gets really fun. Just below this card, right in parallel to it, there's a path that is governed by the Tower card. So there's this path, and then right below, there's this path. So what does this have to do with desire? The image is pretty self-explanatory. We put in all of our effort to build ourselves this tower, and then it comes crashing down. And we do it again, and again, and again. This is the moment when a spiritual awareness destroys a material attachment, whether that be to a relationship, to a job, to a part of your identity, or to the very illusion of separation itself. It's not an easy process, but it's so beautiful. And that happens, I feel like, to almost all of our desires. You know, we attach ourselves to a part of our identity, something we want, and we really work hard and get there, and then we realize that at the end of the day, it doesn't have our salvation, and that our salvation might exist somewhere else or everywhere else entirely. But that's for another video. I would say that in my life and with my clients, I like to advise to enjoy the imperfections and enjoy where things just kind of miss, where things don't mesh completely well. Because if they mesh too well, you might not be looking anywhere else. You can find me at tarotwithjoe.com or email me at tarotwithjoe@gmail.com. I'd love to chat with you. Much love.